This is Empress Sisi of Austria. I've reconstructed her faces to show how she look in real life. Thank you for watching. Subscribe for more historical recreations and let me know in the comments who you'd like to see in real life. Duchess Elisabeth in Bavaria was born on Christmas Eve in 1837. Her father was Duke Maximilian Joseph in Bavaria and her mother was Princess Ludovica of Bavaria. Both parents came from the royal Bavarian house of Wittelsbach, which ruled Bavaria and many other territories. They were related to each other, with both fathers being cousins. They were not soulmates, and they had different personalities, but they got along. Sissi's father came from a junior branch, and all members of Wittelsbach were titled Duke or Duchess in Bavaria. It's more of a courtesy title saying you are a family member of this important royal house. That is different than her mother's side, whose family headed Bavaria. They were titled of Bavaria, so like King, Duke, Prince, Princess of Bavaria. So her mother was a princess of Bavaria while her father was a duke in Bavaria. This is important because it developed their personalities. Her father did not have the same status as his wife, so he led a freer, more relaxed lifestyle. He bought a castle in the countryside of Bavaria, and that is where Sissi and her family lived away from court life. Her mother was brought up a princess in the Bavarian court, so she had high expectations for her children to marry well, and it frustrated her that her husband was not as eminent and serious as her sister and brother-in-laws. Sissi grew up with a carefree lifestyle. Living in the country, she had access to horse riding, swimming, and enjoyed playing with her siblings. In 1853, Sissi accompanied her sister and mother to their cousin, the Emperor of Austria. He was going to propose to her sister Helena. It came to everyone's surprise when he changed his mind and proposed to Sissi instead. She had extreme pressure to accept, and the pressure continued after her marriage in 1854 at 17 years old. She was not cut for public royal life. She was an introvert and quiet by nature. This made her very anxious, and her mother-in-law did little to help soothe her. Her aunt was the Archduchess, and the Archduchess was a controlling and authoritarian woman. Though she loved her family very much, she had goals to achieve. Putting her son on the throne was the first goal she checked off, and now there needed to be an heir. So she put immense pressure on Sissi to produce one. When Sissi's first two children were daughters, the Archduchess removed them from her care and basically said, "Again, try again, we need a son." It was duty over anything else. To cope with this, Sissi refocused her energies on beauty and exercise. Some of her rituals included taking cold showers every morning and an olive oil bath at night, 2 hours to dress her hair, and sleeping without a pillow. She had elaborate spa treatments, including having a raw meat facial mask and soaking in vinegar to preserve her thin waist. It is believed that she also suffered from eating disorders. Sissi was obsessed with being thin. She ate very little, practiced extreme tight lacing, and every place she lived had to be equipped with a gymnasium. Mats and balance beams were even installed in her bedroom so she could practice every morning. She rode every day for hours and took up fencing in her 50s with equal discipline. Sissi was a very complex woman. She was constantly busy, making things for herself to do, and if it was not exercising, it was writing, studying, or engaging in politics. Her husband, Franz Joseph, loved her very much, but was also a mama's boy. The Archduchess wanted strict protocol, and Franz Joseph followed suit. He always hoped that Sissi would eventually adapt to this way of life. In 1858, Sissi finally gave birth to a son. He was, however, swiftly taken away too, and Sissi was blocked from his upbringing. So after his birth, she distanced herself from her husband, the family, and court life in general. She took to traveling to comfort her and was often gone for months on end. 10 years after she gave birth to her son, she had her fourth child, a daughter named Marie, in 1868. With this child, Sissi finally refused to let her child go and poured all her maternal feelings onto Marie to the point of smothering. The late 80s and early 90s were extremely tragic. Her only son, who gave her so much stress trying to give birth to, committed suicide with his lover in 1889. Sissi never recovered from the tragedy, and to make matters worse, she lost her father a year prior in 1888, her sister Helena in 1890, her mother in 1892, and her favorite sister in 1897. To escape this nightmare, Sissi traveled even more and never settled down. She withdrew from public life and traveled aimlessly around the Mediterranean to Egypt and Turkey and even Switzerland and southern France. Often she was incognito, and when she was in Switzerland in 1898 at the age of 60, her suffering finally ended. On Saturday, September 10th at 1:35 p.m., anarchist Luigi Lucchini walked up to the Empress and stabbed her with a sharpened file. It happened so quick, and because of her extreme tight lacing, the pressure along with her corset felt like she was punched, and she did not realize she was dying of internal bleeding. She continued another 100 yards but collapsed, dying shortly after. Her husband was heartbroken, and so was the empire.